Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am working on the Pokemon cross stitch pattern. This is the first generation piece. I am at the bottom of page 2. This pattern, I found it online. I just searched Pokemon cross stitch and this is what came up. They also have different patterns for the different generations. I purchased the I chose to work on the first generation one because one, it's only the Pokemon that I know, and two, it is going to be a Christmas gift for someone close to me, and I don't know if they also know the other generations. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm not gonna knock that they don't. But I'd rather work on something that I know when it comes to something like this that's nostalgic as well as generational. So my thread just came off, so now I gotta thread it. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Alright. I'm filming with natural light today because it is summertime and the sun is out a lot later, even though it's hot. But there's AC and there's a fan running, so that works. And I usually turn on the AC later on in the day, and we keep it on auto so we don't have it literally running all day and wasting electricity. So it helps to keep the apartment cool. Our downstairs, we noticed that our downstairs neighbor, though, I don't know why, and it's none of my business either, but we've noticed over they've been here for about maybe a month or so, 2 months, but all day, every day, unless they leave the house as a family, they leave all of their lights on. And it gets hot in the summertime here, but they leave their lights on all day long, and not just one light. They have their blinds open, so obviously you can see inside, and they have their kitchen light on, the hallway light on, bedroom lights on, and the windows are open at the same time. But I'm like, man, it must be so hot in that unit. I know I would be hot, but to each their own, I guess. They must like the heat.
They are attracted to people. They are attracted to
Yeah, they might be like either Puerto Ricans or Cuban. Maybe like Latin island people, or from the Caribbean. They're nice people, but they just leave the lights on all the time, and that heat comes up into our apartment. Before they moved in, that apartment was getting remodeled, and I think one time we noticed that it was around winter time, and our apartment was hot. And we don't turn on the heater at all, like ever. And we're like, why is the apartment hot? The bathroom floors were hot. The kitchen floors were hot. Come to find out, they were painting the apartment downstairs. And because it's wintertime and it's cold, the paint wasn't going to dry fast enough. So what they did was they left the heater running in the unit downstairs for about 2 weeks to let it dry completely. And during those 2 weeks, our apartment in the wintertime was at 75, 80, and we're like, why is it so hot in here? And yeah, the heat from downstairs came upstairs. So because they leave their lights on, their heat is coming upstairs too. And we're like, okay, well, I guess we just have to deal with it for a while. We are hoping, though, that they don't turn on the heater during the winter time, but we'll see when that comes. So when that time comes, we'll find out. If they do, well, I guess we don't have to worry about keeping warm, because they'll keep us warm with their heat. But we're trying to stay cool in the meantime. And finishing up this piece. This last corner piece has the goldfish Pokemon, the one that wears the crown. What's his name?
Magikarp.
Magikarp.
Yeah.
And I don't think, from what I'm looking at, it's just him. There's no morph of him yet.
Gyarados.
Is that this thing?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Gyarados.
Gyarados. It's like a blue looking thing.
Dragon.
Yeah, like a blue sea dragon. So I guess it's him and... What are they called when they level up?
Evolve.
Evolve, that's what it was. You guys can see I'm out of touch with Pokemon. When I watched Pokemon, I must have been in middle school. Yeah.
It came out in 4th grade.
4th grade?
4th or 3rd grade.
So like ending elementary school, going to middle school. So my middle school started. So you went, like here in California, before it's changed now, but in my area, elementary finished at 6th grade, and then 7th and 8th was middle school, and then 9th through 12th was high school, and that's changed now in several cities in California themselves. But yeah, I remember when the first Pokemon movie came out, and it had Mewtwo. No. Yeah, Mewtwo. That was the guy at the end. And I watched that with one of my cousins because he was a big Pokemon fan. And we actually watched it in at a movie theater in Pacifica, California. And he had all the cards, the toys, everything. I wasn't too into it. I had some characters that I liked, but I wasn't really like a collector of Pokemon. I liked Togepi, even though I don't know what it did, but I just liked it because it was cute in an egg. And
2nd gen.
that second,
It was like.
what is it?
End of 1st, beginning of 2nd.
Oh, okay, because that's the one that Misty carried around, right? And then the other one was Eevee, the fox. I liked that one.
Yeah, 3 evolves.
To get that one had 3
Different, like, element, like, powers, like fire, electricity, and water.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the stuff. Yeah, that's how we...
My husband knows more about the Pokemon people than I do. But those are my 2 favorite ones that I liked.
But no, I'm not a fan anymore.
Oh, correction, he's not a fan anymore, but he knows
Since I was little.
more of them than I do. Because I just watched them. I didn't do anything else with them. Of course, there's the normal ones that you remember, like Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Snorlax, Charmander. Well, there's one more, isn't there? There's Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and then there's Jigglypuff. And the only reason I remember Jigglypuff is because on Nintendo 64, Super Mario Brothers, they had Jigglypuff in like a part where you play different characters to level up and beat the hand. And every time you had Jigglypuff, it would put you to sleep and like beat the crap out of you. You could never beat that level unless you were Jigglypuff. So then you could put that Jigglypuff to sleep. But yeah. So working on this cross stitch piece is bringing up some childhood memories of random bits and pieces of Pokemon shows, the different characters that I remember that I don't remember. But it's fun. It's a little bit nostalgic, but not to the point where I want to make one of these for myself and keep it. So I thought it was a really good Christmas gift for this person that I'm making for it. It fits them perfectly. It's something that they like. And I'm actually surprised that it's still popular, maybe even more popular now than it was when I was younger.
Was it a game?
Yeah, they had the Pokemon Go. So the first Pokemon games that I ever remember were just the cards that you would buy at the comic book stores, Walmart, Target, the mall, even ice cream trucks. I remember ice cream trucks would sell the cards. And then you had the Game Boy come out. And Game Boy had so many different Pokemon games. And
Pokemon Snap.
they had Pokemon. The first Pokemon game I remember playing like on a device on Game Boy was black and white. And it was very pixelated, almost like a Tamagotchi style. Then they had Pokemon Snap, which on Nintendo 64.
Which is like taking pictures.
And then I guess that one you just took pictures. Then they had Pokemon, the regular video game that you can play on, I think, Nintendo 64 also. I forgot what it was called. And you can actually battle. And I remember that one. And then after that,
Just the games.
it was just a regular. They had Pokemon. They had Nintendo 64 had the Game Boys that came out with Pokemon Black and Silver, and I think Pokemon White.
Well, a bunch of different.
And there were just like all these things, and then that was it for a long time until they came out with the Pokemon Go, and that thing. I don't think they were expecting it to explode as big as it did, to be honest. Mainly because of the generation that I grew up with watching Pokemon were already older, out of college already, starting their careers. But man, when they announced Pokemon Go was going, I remember people were going crazy on their phones, downloading it. They had Pokemon Go parties and events and meetups, and they would go catch Pokemon together. It got out of hand so bad. In
Something happened.
Yeah, there was a story that had gone out in San Francisco that there was a Pokemon Go like scavenger hunt or something for like some rare Pokemon, and a group of people went, and there was just like hundreds of people going, and a group happened to go into a wrong section of town or whatever it was, and someone ended up dying, all because of this imaginative character that they were trying to catch on their phone. And it was on the news, and it just got out of hand, even in the point of workplaces. My job, believe it or not, at that time when I was working with this previous company, you had, and I'm not trying to discriminate or anything, but you had adults who were in their 40s, 50s, even in their 60s, downloading this game on their app because it was so hyped up and playing it at work during work hours. And people were doing that in schools as well and all that. And I remember at my job, they literally sent out a letter saying that if you're caught playing that game while at work, you would get suspended. And so, of course, people tried to not play it, but then they'd be like, oh, there's this Pokemon on someone's head, I need to get it. And it was like so addictive to them. And there was a retail store right next to the office that I worked at, and they put up a sign saying, this is not a Pokemon Go play location. And I kept seeing different locations, like Starbucks would put signs like that up. Local shops would be like, yeah, the mall, movie theater, a lot of areas would say this isn't a place to be collecting Pokemon, basically. So I don't think it died down. People obviously still do it, but it's more
Just don't know.
contained. I would say it's more realistic instead of saying, "Oh, I have to go do this." Like we have to have meetups, we have to have all this. I think the addiction and the hype has died down enough that it's bearable.
True fans.
Yeah. So now the people that actually like it are playing it, which good for them.
I'm not hyped.
Yeah, all the bandwagons from that game fell off the wagon already. Basically, I haven't seen what's that movie called? Pikachu Detective Pikachu. I haven't seen it. I probably won't see it.
Unless we just.
The only way I would watch it is if I'm with my stepsister and she watches it. Or most likely she'll be the one to tell me what the movie was about, and that'd be good enough for me. I'm like, oh, okay, great. But it's not something that I'm gonna go watch. Yeah, just not my thing. So, yeah, Pokemon's had some wild years with different people, and I'm just surprised that it's still as relevant to the younger generations now as it was when I grew up watching. And I think when I was first introduced to Pokemon, it was the first time it made it from Japan to the US. So it was very fresh. They didn't think it was going to work out here either. I remember reading articles saying that the makers of Pokemon wanted to bring it here, but they weren't sure how the American audience would accept it or not. And they took that gut feeling and ran with it and took the risk, and it's paid off for them very well, I must say. You have people that dress up as the characters for Halloween. They have birthday parties. You have action figures. Basically anything you name it, they have it.
Everyday clothes.
Yeah, everyday clothes, hats, shoes, underwear, everything basically. So it's paid off for them to bring it over here. So they must be happy about that. But yeah, working on this piece does bring up a lot of memories like that. And it'll be interesting to see what other memories come up. But I will leave you guys here. I'm hoping this will be done today. I think I have one right here, this little stitch by itself, but that's going to be going into the third page. And I'm hoping to have at least a good portion of page 3 done this week as well. I do have a schedule to complete on this. My goal is to have 1 page complete per week so I can have it done in time the week before Christmas so it can be framed. Hold me true to that, you guys. So anyway, this is where I'm at. This is page 1 and basically the end of page 2. If you notice any Pokemon here, go ahead and comment below which ones you see, and I will talk to you guys later.